Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Bella Unplugged. It's your girl Bella. I want to thank everybody for coming on today. And oh my goodness, before I get into anything, let me find out how is everybody's day going. Today is Monday, March the 6th, 2023, and I can't believe it. And I know I'm coming to you midday on lunch, but I have somebody that's coming on stage. Oh, y'all, it's been hard trying to get him, but he hopefully will be here today. And his name is Glenn Lundy. I want to take the opportunity to thank everybody for joining Bella. I'm going to be popping back on, popping on different times, different hours. And this gives me an opportunity to thank all of my constituents, all of my partners, all my friends, all my family, and all my supporters. And I just really want to say thank you, right? Simple words that sometimes we forget or neglect to say. But I really just want to say thank you. I want to thank everybody who's ever contributed to Bella Unplugged, everyone who's contributed, whether it's been monetarily or non-monetarily. If you've taken all of my calls, if you've answered all of my text messages, if you just put up with me over can you believe it? In October, it will be 3 years. 3 years, y'all. I can't believe it. October 2020 is when I started this podcast, and I've just started and learned so much more. So I really want to thank everybody. What I'm streaming at now, I'm streaming obviously on YouTube. That's the platform I'm going to concentrate on. But I'm also streaming live simultaneously on Twitter, also on LinkedIn, and of course on my Facebook page. So again, I want to take a couple of minutes. If you just spend your lunch hour with Bella, I just want to say thank you, because I really do know that you don't have to take time out of your busy schedule. And what the heck, right? I'm coming in on a lunch hour anyway. So for those of you who are working, whether you be in the office or at home, I really mean it. I just want to say thank you. Well, the person that's coming in a few minutes, I'm really in awe, and I mean that because he's to me my coach. And I met Glenn Lundy on, believe it or not, Clubhouse. I've been engaging in Clubhouse over the last year, and some people don't like me on Clubhouse. I won't name him, but I will say this: just like any social media app, boy, it can be addictive, right? I'm telling you, it can be very addictive. But I met some really cool people on Clubhouse, and this is where I met Glenn Lundy. And I want to say right now to all my family and friends, shout out to Tracy Atkinson. That is my girl, my leader, my queen, my partner. Happy Women's Month, Tracy Atkinson. Don't forget that name, because she's coming on in a different capacity. Thank you, Tracy, for always representing me. I appreciate that. Then I have my ride or die, the A. Yes, the A that's in Bella. Ashley, saying hello, because you know what? I don't have to twist her arm, y'all. You know what I don't mean, Tracy? I don't have to twist my daughter's arm, even though I know I get on her nerves. I know I do, but you know what? I'm not just saying it. Tracy Atkinson can testify. She's, to me, the absolute best daughter in the entire universe. So I want to shout out to the A and Bella and say Happy Women's History Month to you too, my young queen. As I was saying, I'm just talking. I'm getting acclimated. 1, 2, 1, 2. Check back on the mic. I'm telling y'all something. I miss this microphone. I really, 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 really do. And it just feels good, Tracy Atkinson, to be back on live. You know what I mean? Y'all don't know this, but I literally have been off my YouTube channel since last May. So never ashamed, never apologetic, but it's been a minute. I had to take a break on the mental health. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Well, if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, we're going to talk about it, because I actually am doing my program Lining Up, Tracy, and I've got some absolutely wonderful certified professions that's going to sow their time in. And so I'm telling you all, we don't thank people enough. Let me say that again. We don't thank people enough. See, Tracy Atkinson understands what the word community and giving is all about, right? Y'all know I can go on and I can do whatever I want to because it's my show. But I want to center focus on the man of the hour, Glenn Lundy. I'm just setting the stage. For those who don't know Glenn Lundy, he is a very, very awesome leader. Let me tell you some things about Glenn Lundy. Glenn Lundy, who's coming on soon. I got the text message. Y'all just hang in there with Bella. Y'all need to get acclimated with me anyway, because I'm really back and I've got some great, awesome programming lined up just for you. Back to Glenn Lundy. As I was telling the audience, Tracy, I met Glenn Lundy on Clubhouse almost into a year now. And for those of you who know how Clubhouse operated, because I certainly didn't, I just jumped on Clubhouse, doing my thing, going into the rooms, listening to the conversations, and I got attracted to Glenn Lundy. I got to ask Glenn, I can't even remember how I found his room, but I did. So in Clubhouse, you have different rooms and different houses. And I just kept hearing Glenn Lundy, Glenn Lundy, Glenn Lundy. You know Glenn Lundy? I was like, no, I don't know Glenn Lundy. Well, he's got one of the largest rooms. It's called Breakfast with Champions. Again, I said Breakfast with Champions. And I said, I like that name. I like that name. So I went in. Lord and behold, I have been attached to Glenn Lundy since the first day. Again, I'm coming up on a year. But a little bit about Glenn Lundy. If you're on Clubhouse, Glenn Lundy comes on 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 5:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Yes, early birds. You should be up anyway, 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And he has an hour segment, and it is, I can't even describe it. All I can tell you is it's absolutely reinforced my beliefs, and it's absolutely changed Bella's life, because you have to understand, Tracy gets it. As a leader, you also need leaders to lead leaders, right? And sometimes people forget that leaders are human. We really do have these earth suits, and we need a break too. But I don't put the onuses on other people. I always put the onuses on myself. And so Glenn Lundy is important to me for a lot of reasons. But the main reason why he's coming on today to talk about who he is, he's a leader. Glenn Lundy puts it out there as a coach, but he also puts it out there where he absolutely, Tracy, he absolutely, Ashley, he demonstrates his life in front of people. And that's what I love about him. He's a rare breed. He does not walk on water. He's a faith believer like I am and many out there. But what I love about Glenn Lundy, yep, I'm talking about my faith believing people out there. Hey, Glenn Lundy is about it. And I thank God for Glenn Lundy. He reinforces my spiritual faith walk, and he absolutely walks the walk. But more importantly, he talks that talk, he walks it too. So we got some people, y'all got to come on in, because y'all know there are restrictions and they're doing some modifications. So if you don't holler at a sister on YouTube, I don't know you out there. And oh my goodness, how you doing, Lawrence? Thank you so much. I'm telling you all, we're going to talk about Clubhouse today. When Glenn Lundy comes in here, I got Glenn Lundy from 1:15 to 2 p.m. And hopefully he'll honor the time. And if he doesn't honor the time because he's a busy man, we're going to keep it rolling, right? We're going to keep it rolling. But I'm setting the stage for those of you who don't know who Glenn Lundy is. Glenn Lundy is a true friend to me. Glenn Lundy is a leader to me. Glenn Lundy is a mentor to me. And like I said, for those Breakfast with Champion leaders, I am one of thousands. Let me say that again. I am one of thousands who wake up 5 days a week, every single morning, 5:30 a.m. Eastern time. Hey, y'all know Bella's base is in Atlanta, GA, and Glenn Lundy has a 1 hour segment. And he'll get into how he got started, why he got started, and all of that. Because I really want to spotlight the man. But I cannot articulate in the last year all the highlights, all the aha moments, but more importantly, the knowledge, y'all, the information, the information, the information. Because see, what Bella believes in, information is powerful. Oh, yes, it is. Let's not make no mistake. But it don't mean a goddamn thing. I don't curse on my own show. I don't allow profanity. But it don't mean a goddamn thing. The information is being powerful if you don't use it. If you don't use it, right? And that's what we're going to talk about today. It is so good to see you learn Sally. Let me tell you something. I'm going to have this brother on my show. This brother ain't playing, y'all. Yep. Bella gonna go on her rant. Y'all know I'm going into my 3rd year. I can do what I want to on my Bella Unplugged show. Okay. But thank you for supporting me, Lawrence. See, I love it when people commit. Tracy knows exactly what I'm talking about, right, Tracy? Tracy's like, yep, you're so right, Bella. We have to practice self-care because if we get depleted, we have nothing to give. I'm going to say that one more time to Lawrence, to Ashley, to all those that's out there. Y'all keep on coming in the room. The numbers are going up, and I so appreciate you. But let's go back to what Tracy said. You are so right, Bella. You have to practice self-care because we do get depleted. And if we don't practice self-care, that we got this thing twisted, y'all. Where do we all come up with self-care means selfishness? It does not, right? It does not mean selfishness. But Bella even had that thing twisted. Bella still sometimes get that thing twisted. You know why? Because I know that we are so conditioned, right? We are so conditioned to do everything that society tells us to do. We're so conditioned to do the norm. We're so conditioned to do the norm. And I know we all have the empowerment within ourselves, right? To help ourselves because the power lies within. I'm a firm believer, y'all. I'm a firm believer in the power of the Creator. I'm talking about Almighty God. I'm talking about Yahweh for those that is no stuttering up in here. I'm talking about the Creator of the heavens and earth. I'm talking about the God that serves Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He gives every single one of us the empowerment to help ourselves, y'all. But anyway, it's all tying into Glenn Lundy. And just like you all, I am anxiously waiting for Glenn Lundy to come into the studio so we can get him mic'd up and up on this stage. But I am telling you, let's have a conversation. Lawrence, why don't you weigh in? What do you feel about self-care? Because Tracy, you are so on the mark. You are so on the mark, Tracy. You're right, Tracy. Self-care is not selfish. That's right. How can we pour into others if we ourselves are depleted? Man, I'm telling you something, Tracy. Tracy, that is my girl. That is my queen. It really, really is. We are always in sync. And when we're not, we can agree to disagree. We need to get back to basics, everybody. Like, where is all this thing? God didn't create robots, and we're not all the same. We have a mind, we have a brain, we should have thought processes, and we should be independently thinking. But it's okay to have a different point of view. But we can respect each other, right? We don't have to get all bunched up in the panties because someone doesn't agree with us. I know I got to check myself. I know I have to really check myself because I know I can go there too. But one thing I can talk about Bella, I can bet on Bella. I'm going to be honest, super honest, brutally honest, because you know what? When I show up, as God gives me grace and mercy each morning when I wake up, I promise God to be my 100% sustainable self. And that's all he asked for, because we get it twisted in this world, y'all. Everybody wants to be somebody that they're not. Show up, be seen, be heard, but more importantly, be you. So as we wait for Glenn Lundy to come on in the studio lounge, he's a very busy man. Like I said, Breakfast with Champions, for those who are on Clubhouse, is 5:30 a.m. Monday through Fridays to 6:30, which is the 1 hour segment that Glenn Lundy, who I love, I can't get enough of Glenn Lundy. You know why? Because he inspires people as he's going through his own stuff. He shares it and he overcomes it. And y'all, I'm telling you, it means everything in the world to me. I think Lawrence is weighing in as we're waiting for Glenn Lundy. Lawrence is saying self-care is not selfish. That's right, Lawrence. How can we pull into others if we ourselves are depleted? Absolutely, Lawrence. It's the exact same statement that Tracy was saying. You're right. But, you know, we got to sit back sometime, take a minute, figure it all out. That's why the community is important. So Tracy, I appreciate you giving me highlights, because I love the community. You know, I used to think that everybody wanted to contribute to their community and people wanted to volunteer. See, I grew up in a service family. I didn't even understand at 6 years old. I was out there with my mother. My mother was very devoted to the whole voter education rights. And as a little girl, I would go with my mother. She was considered back in the day a chair, election voters, and she would teach people how to read the polls and work the polls and become a poll worker. It was a big deal, which is always a big deal. But for my mother, who was a housewife, that was everything to her. And I grew up with service. Yeah, I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. The DMV. What's up? Shout out to the DMV. Now, for those who don't know what the DMV stands for, Lawrence, it stands for DC, Maryland, and Virginia, which is representing the what we call the corridor between Maryland, where I grew up and was raised, in Baltimore, Maryland, Washington, D.C., which is about 30 minutes if you're doing a regular speed limit from Baltimore to Washington, D.C., and then D.C. to Alexandria, Virginia, which is, I believe, is the first city into Virginia. You know, it's all intertwined. It's like minutes. You can literally go to 2 states, because the District of Columbia, for all of those who should know, is not a state. It's the District of Columbia. And I want to say shout out to Mayor Browser, because she's been doing a wonderful job. I don't know if anyone's in that area who had an opportunity to go visit Black Lives Matter, but when I go home to Maryland again, I definitely plan on seeing it with my own eyes. I want to say shout out to the mayor of DC, because that was a very, very brave initiative she did, and that'll be on her watch. So you guys keep DC in prayer. They're still trying to become its own state. And we've been trying to work this out, Tracy, for a long time, as you all know, with the League of Women Voters. But anywho, I just want to welcome everybody. Thank everybody for coming on the stage. This is live. Bella is live. And we are waiting, anticipating to have the famous, the one and only Glenn Lundy to grace us on the stage. He has all the particulars, and we do know things happen. So if Glenn Lundy's not able to meet with us at this time, it's okay. Y'all got Bella, because you know what? Bella don't trip off of nothing, because what's going to happen is going to happen. And I love me some Glenn Lundy, and I know he has a very busy schedule. And I say, Glenn, just squeeze me in for a few minutes. Just squeeze me in for a few minutes. I really wish you all, I believe Lawrence was there. It was an awesome Breakfast with Champion this morning at 5:30, because he has several platforms. And the platform that I'm referring to is in Clubhouse. And yes, every morning, typically, I get on the Clubhouse And at 5:30 a.m. Eastern Time, as I said before, if you want to look for Clubhouse, the room is called Breakfast with Champions. And it's headed by our fearless leader, Glenn Lundy. And so I wanted to take a few minutes and your busy lunch hour, just come on and say, hey, I'm back for real, for real, for real, for real. And you're going to be seeing some really interesting, provocative, super influencers and some great segments coming up in this year of 2023. But I want to take this minute to just say to all my women, hey, everybody, I want to say thank you to my Facebook. I see you, Facebook family. Thank you for watching me on Facebook. Thank you for my Twitter fan. I really need to build up my Twitter base. I was just saying to one of my friends, I said, I really have to build up Twitter, Lawrence, because you need to understand the social media presence. Now, I'm not saying you have to be on every social media presence. I'm just saying you have to figure out who your market is, right? And serve that market. So I'm a little weak when it comes to Twitter. My nephew told me years ago he loves Twitter. And so I just want to say thank you to my Twitter fans. Thank you also, as you well know, to my LinkedIn family, because I know LinkedIn came in, I want to say a year and a half ago when I was really heavily strong doing segments, and LinkedIn came on. We were like, oh my goodness, you can do lives on LinkedIn. So I don't know about what you guys are saying, but it's getting pretty competitive out there, isn't it? But at the same time, what I want to say to everybody is this, right? It's competitive, but if you're really in the creative mode, right, you can make money. That's not my single focus using social media, but hey, I figure if you got it, why not? So I'm going to tell you what my social handles are. I have Twitter, Lawrence. I have Facebook. I have actually 2 Facebook pages. I have a business and a personal Facebook page. I love, 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 love Instagram, Tracy. Instagram is by far, my favorite social media, if you will. It used to be Facebook. And of course, I have TikTok. And so I just can't seem to bring myself to do these crazy memes. But again, what did I say earlier? You do not have to be like everyone else. But it is kind of funny. And I have funniness in my bones, but I don't know, y'all. So what do y'all think? So as we're waiting for Glenn Lundy, I don't have any message from him. I don't know if he's running late, but what I want to do is read some of the comments. I'm going to keep it moving. Y'all know me. I'm so glad to see so many people in here on YouTube. And you guys, you know what? I've been watching a lot of YouTube because I have a lot of partners that I like to support, right? And again, it doesn't have to be monetary all the time, right? You can support people by just showing up in the room, Tracy. Just showing up in the room, Lawrence. I mean, it's very, very important. Now, when I was working under the auspices of the mayor's office, Mayor Kasim Reed to be exact, I was implementing and managing an incubator program for entrepreneurs. And it's something that I have found myself to be true, Tracy, that I always remind myself. I used to tell the entrepreneurs, Lawrence, I say, you know what? You got to really love and be into your business to the point where, whether it's your family, whether it's your friends, whoever, your partner in life, if they're talking negative about your business or what you're doing, you got to tune them out, y'all. You really got to tune them out. You've got to tune them out, because I've seen women, and I am proud to say, Lawrence, I have helped hundreds of women over the last 10 years regarding entrepreneurship. And let me tell you something. We need to get another name, because that's an honor to be an entrepreneur, particularly a female entrepreneur, and particularly an African-American woman of color female entrepreneur. Because I don't want to give y'all the stats, because I'm on statistics. I research and I vet every single thing. And it's embarrassing, y'all, for me to even talk about the percentage of women of color who are entrepreneurs, who don't have an opportunity for resources, who don't have an opportunity for grants, who don't have an opportunity for programs that attach themselves with funding that would help them. And there's no representation. And we really, really need to move the needle up. So I'm going to take a couple of shares that I see up here as I'm waiting on Glenn Lundy. And if Glenn Lundy's unable to make it today, hey, I'll just reschedule. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I am really learning, Tracy, to just, this pandemic did something to me, y'all. That's why I got off of YouTube. I was having mental opportunities in my mind to go negatively or positively. And I like to say that. So sometimes, yeah, along with self-care, we need to take ourselves off of our normal routine and just sit still and be quiet. We need to just sit still and be quiet. As I'm sitting in my studio, it feels good to be sitting in the studio, Lawrence. It's been a minute. And I'll be telling my story because I haven't been on my YouTube channel since last May, coming up on a year. This pandemic has done a major shift. I feel the vibration in the universe, but I'm telling you all, this couldn't be the best time ever, right? The best time ever, everybody, for us to shift, move, pivot, and do different things. So I'm going to take a couple of shares. You all represent and hanging there with me because it's one thing about Bella, I'm extremely consistent. And we're going to continue with this programming until 2. And I want to hear from my family. So thank you again, Lawrence. I'm seeing a lot of messages from Lawrence and Tracy. But yeah, we're talking about self-care. And I was preluding about the man of the hour, Glenn Lundy, who I'm looking forward to spotlighting. And if Glenn Lundy's not available to come today, guess what? We're going to reschedule and keep it moving, y'all. But it is some things I wanted to highlight and let you all know. Very soon, I'm going to be having an 800 number. I'm doing some programming changes on Bella Unplugged to be more accessible to my family. And I really, really mean it. I don't know how many YouTube channels. It seems like it's a million. It's a million, Tracy. And Tracy, you are absolutely right. There is so much work to do, Tracy Atkinson. So much work to do. And you know what we say, it's a biblical term in there, there's a lot of work in the vineyard, but the labor are few. It's important to, once you identify what you need to do in your life, step 2, activate, right? Activate. Surround yourself with a good tribe of supporters, right? Surround yourself with people who are going to support you, people who just are going to listen to you. Sometimes you don't even want anyone to say anything and deposit into you. You just want a listening ear. As my grandmama used to say, Lawrence, a bending ear. Come on in here, lean in here. But you're right, Lawrence. You're absolutely right. Self-care creates healthy boundaries all day and every day. And I'm glad that it's like a theme in 2023, right? That we all need to acknowledge it's nothing wrong with self-care. I know Bella has issues sometimes receiving. I'll be the first to admit it. I have a problem receiving, y'all. So, we're always, I like to say, we're all a work in progress. We really are. We're a work in progress. But I really want to thank everybody for coming on. Lawrence, you are right. We're not even going to give it that energy. You're right. See, we're talking about naysayers. Because y'all know the universe of this world, you always have a positive and you always have a negative, right? And what Lawrence is, I'm agreeing with Lawrence, we're not going to give energy to the naysayers. And I was just talking to a partner today. I said, you know what? We really need to learn how to make the lemonade out the lemons. And we just confine ourselves and constrict ourselves and beat ourselves up all the time. We need to really stop that, y'all. We really, really, really need to stop that because we need to give ourselves a break. That's all I'm saying. We need to give ourselves a break. Well, I want to reset and just want to say thank you to everyone who's coming on live. I know it's lunch hour. I know it's in the middle of the day, but I'm going to get something straight with y'all so y'all not be beating Bella up with the comments. Bella will come on different times of the hour, sometimes because I have no choice. It's based on my guest, right? It's based on my guest schedule. So y'all got to bear with Bella. I mean, it ain't nothing but a thing. I keep telling y'all, don't sweat the small stuff. Okay? Come on now. Y'all been repping with me for almost 3 years. And I'm telling y'all something right now. I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited because I can see what y'all can't see. It's somebody named Glenn Lundy get ready to come up in here. So y'all keep on coming in the room. Share. Where my Baltimore folks at? Come on now. Get on up in here. Because the man of the hour is here. The one, the only. Hey, I'm getting ready to say it now. It's Glenn Lundy. What's going on, Glenn Lundy? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. What's up, what's up, what's up?
Hey, listen, Glenn Lundy. I was telling all my constituents how important you are and what you mean to me, man. How you doing, Glenn?
Oh, that's super kind of you, man. I really appreciate that. I'm doing amazing. How you doing?
Listen, Glenn, I'm doing fine. I want Glenn to take a second because I have to honor Glenn. He's first time on my list. So while Glenn catches his break, everybody, I'd like to first formally introduce this man of the hour. I've been talking about you for 25 minutes, Glenn. I'm going to keep on talking. I'm going to let Glenn take his break. But see, this is how super leaders are. Because I know Glenn Lundy is my coach and he's the #1 greatest speaker in America, I know I'm gonna have to honor his time because see, Jessica and I got a thing going on. She said, look at here, Bella. Okay. You must be pretty daggone special there. Because I gave her some scouts. She came back and said, Glenn cannot do that. I said, I'll take anything Glenn's got. I know I got to get Glenn Lundy out of here at 2 o'clock. And Glenn, I don't know. I'm not liking my ring. I was trying to look all cute for you. I'm looking all dark. But anyway, listen, I want Glenn to take a minute before I introduce this man because I have got to give him his flowers right now up on my platform. So y'all come on in the room. Come on. Listen, I got goosebumps. Listen, Linda, listen, right? Glenn, I was telling my folks, I said, you know what? I have not been on my YouTube channel, Glenn Lundy, for almost a year. Last May, I was having a moment, Glenn. I was like, you know what? What I'm doing don't matter. You know, I can let that ugly, you know what, get up in my head. Oh, my goodness, Glenn, who is that?
That's Miss Meredith. That's one of what. This is Meredith is number 4.
Yes.
My fourth baby.
Hey, Meredith.
She said, hey, Meredith.
Hi.
Hey, Meredith, before you go, I'm going to introduce your dad. Listen, you know your dad's a big deal to a lot of people, right? Do you know that, Meredith?
She can't hear you because of the headphones.
Tell her what I say, Glenn. Well, listen, without further ado, I'm going to take my flowers now because I've got Glenn at 2 o'clock. So let me get Glenn set up. Okay, let's get ready. Let's get ready. Listen up. I've been talking about this man, so I'm going to reset the room. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Listen up here. I was telling everybody, this man to my right, if you're looking, is my leader. I'm going to publicly tell the whole world, Glenn Lundy.
I'll be done in 20 minutes.
He takes care of his people. So let me tell you, I met Glenn Lundy. I was on Clubhouse almost a year, Glenn Lundy. I don't even remember who told me. Somebody said, Bella, don't be roaming all these hallways. Get into Breakfast with Champions. That's where you belong. I'm thinking to myself, how do they know where I belong? I don't even know where I belong, Glenn. But oh my goodness, when I got into his room, again, y'all better be doing some homework. Did I not say 20 times? Clubhouse, Glenn Lundy, Breakfast with Champions, 5:30 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. His 1 hour segment, Eastern Time. So without further ado, I want to introduce the man, the myth, the legend. He's my coach. I'm very, very proud. This is going to be impromptu. I want Glenn just to speak about who he is. I'm going to ask him a couple of questions, not much, but I'm very moved. Y'all don't know. Y'all can't see Bella. Bella is very humble to have this man because Glenn don't even know yet. He has changed my freaking life. So without further ado, the one, the only, the man, Glenn Lundy. Yes. How you doing, Glenn
Girl, you
Lundy?
wild. You wild. I'm doing
Yes,
great,
I
man.
am, Glenn. How you doing, Glenn?
Amazing. Everything's amazing, man.
Well,
Can't
Glenn Lundy, let's get
bless.
right into it because I want you to watch your time. And Glenn Lundy, I'm gonna talk to you till you roll off this because I want to keep you on my show forever. So
Sounds
Glenn, I'm
fair.
gonna take my glasses off because I say I want Glenn to see the real Bella, right? But I'm not liking the way I look, Glenn. I'm looking at this ring and everything. But Glenn, let's get right into you. I have social media you forever, Glenn, and everybody's like, "Who's this Glenn Lundy? Father of one, husband, children of 8." Glenn Lundy, how about you telling your own story, whatever you want to share, my man?
Husband to one, father to 8. That's it. Founder of the 800% Elite Automotive Club and the host of the wildly popular Facebook Live morning show, #Rides and Grind, not to mention the founder of the Breakfast with Champions over on Clubhouse, which has been powerful. Chance to meet you, Bella. So that's some of the things that I do in a nutshell. As far as who I am a child of God, grateful for the opportunity to go out and make an impact in other people's lives. That's it. That's me. That's Glenn Lundy. Oh, where'd she go? Did I lose? There she is. Oh, you're muted. You're muted, Bella. You're muted, Bella. I can't hear you.
And Glenn, I want you to know something. Now, you and I both know, Glenn, whenever you doing something positive, whenever you have a message out to the community, you know what always comes into play. Am I right, Glenn Lundy?
Oh, yeah, of course, baby. Of course.
But what I want to do is ask this question, Glenn Lundy.
Sure.
Why do hundreds of people, thousands of people like Bella get up in the morning, 5:30 a.m.? Well, really, technically, it's before 5:30, but I want to talk about the man of the hour. Get up, get on, go in the clubhouse, crazy hours, listen to Glenn Lundy, get inspired, stay on Clubhouse most of the day as a result of Breakfast with Champion, Glenn Lundy.
Yeah, I think that that particular app, Clubhouse, was cool because it gave everybody a voice and gave everybody an opportunity to feel seen, heard, and significant. And I think that's that's all we're all searching for, right? We want to feel seen, we want to feel heard, we want to feel significant, and so we create for that. To do everything in our power to give people a stage and give them a microphone, let their voice be, so that if they need, we can't see you if you don't speak up. We don't know you're there, and that's what's been great about Clubhouse is being able to create those two-way conversations that no other social media outlets have been able to put together.
Glenn, I'm going to ask you this. I work in production. I don't talk about that aspect of my business because I work with a lot of celebrities. But I was talking to, this was about 15 years ago, the original Earth, Wind, and Fire, who was my favorite R&B show ever.
Right.
And I was asking them, because I work with a lot of celebrities, what is like the highest compliment that they receive from, their, followers, people who love them. And I'm going to ask you that question. It was interesting. I'll tell you what they said, Glenn. But Glenn, what do you get from people like Bella? And when you hear people giving you homage and they really mean it, people are inspired by you, motivated by you. Just, Glenn, you just give us the fuel we need to soar. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's amazing to know that my story, my voice has been able to make an impact on so many. And, I think the thing is when people come up and say, hey, you inspired me to do this, and then they went and took action on something, right? 'Cause, like, I get a lot of people that'll come up and they'll say, man, you changed my life. I'm like, that's cool. I love that. I appreciate that. I receive that. But what are you doing? What are you doing with it? What are you doing now? right? Like that's the part that matters most to me. So I love it when somebody comes up and says, "Hey, I was watching your show, and then I start my own business. Now, fast forward later, I'm making X. My family's this. My wife and I are happy. My kids are this." Like when people execute on the things that we teach, that to me is where the real joy comes from.
And Glenn, when I tell people that you are definitely a dedicated father and to 8 children and a husband, I mean, people look at me like, it's 2023, Bella, come on. I'm like, no, it's 2023, and there are faithful relationships out there, and families have multiple children. They look at me like it's a dirty word, Glenn. Glenn, talk about that, because I love the way you talk about family is important, right?
Yeah, the tribe is everything. The tribe is everything. And so we have 8 beautiful, we've been blessed with 8 beautiful children. And, each child that I've had, it's expanded me. I've grown with each child. Grown with each. My relationship with my wife expands with each child. The experiences we get to experience. I never knew nothing about no soccer. My son, he's a soccer player. That's what he does. So now I do the soccer thing, So we are just so thankful to have a incredibly big family, and I feel like I learned so much from that. And then to just get showered with love, Bella. I mean, golly, I walk there like daddy, 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 and that's amazing because you feel seen, heard, and significant. And what's really neat is a lot of people say, "Hey, make sure you hold on to them because they grow up fast," and da 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 da. People say that all the time, and I get it. Yeah, when you only have 1, 2 babies, it goes by quick. But bro, I've been changing diapers for 14 years straight. There ain't nothing quick about it. Like it ain't quick at all. I just ran. You keep having babies, and you can do this thing for a long time. So my oldest is 23, my youngest is 2. So we still got a lot of great years of childhood that we're excited about, and really looking forward to the later years when I'm older and they're all grown and they've got their kids, and the family reunion and all those experiences, so on and so forth. So my kids are, I won't say my kids are my everything. God is everything to me. My wife comes before my children. She is the mother of my children. I don't have my children without her. And so I honor her, and I am so grateful for her. And if my kids don't ever honor her, they hear it. I'm like, don't be talking to my wife like that. That ain't happening. She came first. Young lady, young man, right? And and then my kids, and then everything falls after that.
Glenn, you're reminding me of what, they call me an OG, Glenn. You remind me what they say, the old school. I got you by a few years, Glenn. But I'm telling you, I just look at people, I'm like, this is how things used to be. Go back and read your history.
That's right.
Right. Go back and remember. I say Glenn's honoring doing what Glenn as a man, well, I don't say a real man, a God-fearing man does. It's God first, family second, da-da-da-da-da. I mean, come on now. Glenn, I think the women are enamored by you because we've lacked for so long, decades, right? Respect, from the women. I'm single because I was married, Glenn, and my husband died, so I'm technically a widow. But I did divorce him, Glenn, but I'm still a widower, right? And so it's different. But I have a lot of female friends who have never been married. And, quite frankly, Glenn, they got bad attitudes. And those are another topic for another day. And I might just keep following Bella on Bella's YouTube. I got a lot of videos with a lot of people. But you know what I say, Glenn? You can come on. I could bring King Kong on here. I was saying before you came on, Glenn Lundy, information is powerful. So is knowledge. But in Bella's world, it don't mean nothing if you don't apply it.
Fact.
And I was telling everybody prior to you coming on, saying the stage, Glenn, and you'll see, I'll make sure you get this replay, Glenn, that you know what? It is what it is. And one thing I know about Glenn Lundy is consistent. Glenn Lundy basically is sharing pieces of his life with the Breakfast with Champion leaders. And I know the hundreds of thousands of people that come on that stage will hit or get something, whether it's negatively or positively. But I always know, Glenn Lundy, I'm going to say it to the world, I will always be your intercessory prayer. Put Bella on speed dial, Glenn. I will do anything you ask me to do. And you know why, Glenn Lundy? Because I know, Glenn Lundy, I'm a cry, Glenn. I said I wasn't going to do it. Let me put the glasses on. Got a little everything for Glenn. Tag on, been messing up on here. Glenn Lundy, human, you do not walk on water. But Glenn Lundy,
That's right.
I know what you know I don't know. We have spiritual maturity, and I know the real thing when I know the real thing. That's why I know Glenn Lundy understands, like Bella, his assignment, people. We all have assignments, but I love the way Glenn Lundy can't give up too many secrets, Glenn. I love Glenn's delivery. See, Glenn Lundy is guided by the Holy Spirit. Yep, well, I'm going there, folks. This is my show, and I can do what I want. Right, Glenn?
That's exactly right. That's how it's supposed to be.
And guess what, Glenn Lundy? What you don't know, Glenn, I'm watching your time. You let me know we got to pop out because, Glenn, I want to keep you on here forever, Glenn. I want to keep you on here forever.
No problem. No problem. We good. We good.
But, Glenn, this is what I want to say to you. I want to say some real personal things. I selfishly, Glenn, was saying, Glenn better come on my podcast. Glenn better come on here. And while I have you on here, Glenn, let me slow down what everybody's on here doing. Y'all got to wait in line. Glenn, you got so many comments. They're going to have to wait, Glenn, because I come first. Right, Glenn?
That's it. That's a fact.
And I want to say it to your face, Glenn. Well, virtual face, Glenn, right? Because we really are.
Right.
Glenn Lundy, I love you. And I love you as agape love, as a brother loves a sister in Christ. Because, Glenn Lundy, I've been around a little bit. I love your delivery and what you clear, articulate, no stuttering. Someone that has a PhD to someone that has a second grade education can understand clearly, Glenn Lundy, what he puts before people. And I'm telling y'all something else right now. Y'all know Bella, because Bella is on. See, Glenn's going to get to know Bella. Bella be on 1,000 every day. Man, I got to. Because I want to save the world today, Glenn. I'm one of them.
I get it.
You know, the creator be saying, come on, Bella, set it up. Did I not? Didn't it take 6 days and 7 days? What we do, Bella? 7 days we rested. I know, God. I know. But
that's a fact.
I just have a couple more questions. I want you to share what's on your heart. Are we good to 2? Can I take the 205, Glenn?
Yeah, we can get there.
Listen, y'all don't know. You see, they don't understand the background. See, y'all don't know. I am privileged and honored to have Glenn on my show. Y'all don't understand. But you know what? Leaders understand time. I see, Glenn, this is the kind of programming I have. I have it where you edify, where you motivate, but they got to do the goddamn work, Glenn. We don't have no person on here. We can have different points of view, but we're about giving the people the real tea, Glenn. I don't bring people on here pie in the sky. I've had people from Ambassador Andrew Young, Sernona Clayton, Yolanda. You can go and look at the YouTube, right? Here's what I'm saying, Glenn. I bring people on to be effective.
Sure.
To tell people the truth, Glenn. No pie in the sky over here. And what you and I know is this, Glenn, right? For such a time as this in 2023, people have got to come off of their loins, Glenn Lundy, and stop pointing their fingers and talking about who sharp Paul and Johnny. Stop talking about low-level talk and thinking and get down with themselves, Glenn. I want you to talk on that, Glenn. Like, people need to really, Glenn, check yourself and stop wrecking other people with your mouths. Because people are lazy, Glenn Lundy. See, Glenn, I don't have the nice fortitude. You know, I'll be looking at Glenn, I'll be like, yeah, Glenn, oh, I ain't like that. You got to look at some of my lives. I'll be like all over the place. Come on, people.
Well, you know what they say, you can't just sit there and have all these hopes and dreams and goals and whatnot and then just sit on the couch and eat a sandwich, right? It doesn't work. That's not how it works. We got to get in motion. Objects in motion tend to sit in motion, right? Objects at rest tend to stay at rest. So the more time we spend resting, the clock is ticking. There's a guy named Ross Dawson. Ross Dawson says we're going to experience 2,000 years of evolution in the next 100 years. So when you do the math backwards, that means we're experiencing 100 years of evolution in the next 5 years. That's crazy. 100 years in the next 5 years. That 1 year is equivalent to years, right? So when we're saying, oh, we'll do that next year, we'll do that next time, or so on and so forth, I mean, every day translates to months, basically, weeks, months, whatever the math is, just because of the era that we're in, the time that we're in right now. So I'm excited to be alive in today's day and age because it is an incredible blessing and gift. The tools that we have now, the technology that we have to reach people in certain ways, it's really incredible. With that said, though, a lot of the technology and a lot of things that have been created have created an opportunity for others to do less. See, I look at it all and say, let's do more, right? We have more, therefore we should do more. But I do know that there are many people out there that have been blindly convinced less than, are not worthy, that they are undeserved, that they have some sort of shackle, some sort of chain, some sort of inability. There are people out there that have been brainwashed to believe that they are a victim, not a victor in this existence. So then when you that mindset and you add in tools that allow more space to be lazy, to do less than, you can literally like indulge yourself. Oh, I think I have a brain disorder. Let's go look it up. Oh, yep, I got that symptom, that symptom, that symptom, that symptom. And so it's easy to convince yourself that it's okay for you to do nothing when the reality is all of that is smoke and mirrors. We were placed on this earth for one reason only, and that's to go out and make an impact in other people's lives. You can't do that when you're sitting on the couch eating a sandwich. It just don't. So I'm going to continue doing everything in my power to reach out to every corner on this planet, every nook, every canny, every dark little alleyway, to find that person that feels less than or feels invisible, feels like they're not worthy, and just do everything in my power to let them know, hey, you can, you should, and you must, right? You can, you should, and you must do it now because it's urgent, man. We're running out of time. And some people are going to receive the message and say, great. Other people are going to say, F you, get out of here. Other people are going to sit on it and marinate, and it's going to hit 7 years. I don't know. It's like, it's not my job to hold people's hand and lead them to water. It's just my job to give people awareness that the water exists. And then you can choose whether or not you want to go drink it. So all of that.
Glenn, I appreciate you saying that. We've got a little bit. I'm going to honor your time, Glenn. It's 1:54. I'm looking at the studio time.
No, we're good on time. We're good on time. There's weird audio stuff going on in my headphones. So
I'm sorry about that, Glenn. Well, Glenn, listen, this is just getting started because I'm going to have you on my show, Unlimited, Glenn. Whenever you want to come on Bella's show, just say, Bella, I want to come on your show. Because you get carte blanche with me for everything, Glenn, I promise you. I got to tell Ambassador Andrew I got a new boyfriend. He won't like it, Glenn, but he'll be all right. So, Glenn.
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy. I got to get you linked up. I'm actually interviewing him. I think it's next Tuesday on the 13th, Glenn. I got to back channel you. We got to talk. I got to connect you, Glenn, because a couple people want to meet you. I've been talking about you so much. Well, who's this Glenn Lundy you keep talking about, Bella? I done told the mayor about you, man. I done told, oh, my God. You got to make me look good, Glenn. I done told so many people, well, who's this Glenn Lundy? I want to make this. But Glenn,
I'll do everything in my power.
I'm talking you up a lot, Glenn. Two direct questions. Early today on the Breakfast with Champion. Sorry for those who didn't get on. It's an exclusive club, okay? Glenn was talking about world class, and oh my God, I loved it. And I want Glenn to talk a little bit about that, and then I want you to give another question I have for you before I go to the audience. But Glenn, talk a little bit about the whole. I love that concept when you talked about world class, stepping it up, and all that good stuff. I was loving that, Glenn.
I'm evolving, as a human, as we all are. And it hit me just a few weeks ago. I I storyboarded. I went on my little tablet thing, my little Remarkable, and I storyboarded my dream life, right? Like what does it look like? And so I drew a picture of uh, relationship, and then I drew a picture of my relationship with my wife, and then I drew a picture of my relationship with my kids, and then I drew a picture of my business, what my business looks like. Then I drew a picture of books, signing books, and I drew another picture of speaking on stages, and I drew out all these pictures. And what I realized when I drew out all the pictures of my dream life, I realized that I have those pictures, right? I already have. But in only two of those areas would I consider myself world class. I do believe I am a world class husband to my wife. I believe I am a world class father to my children. In all the other areas, I gave myself like a C. I have a show. I have a podcast. I have spoke on stages. I have a multi-million-dollar business, right? I have all these things. Not world class. My daily morning show live, half the time the technology don't work. It's not world class, right? My business, couple $1,000,000 a year or whatever, a few $1,000,000. That's great. But it ain't world class. I mean, it's not Google. It's not Tesla. Those are world class. And so it just kind of hit me like, man, I have all the pieces, but now we have to make sure those pieces are world class. So I started thinking that way and analyzing different areas of my life. And what always happens with me is as I start to execute and apply, I learn by teaching. So I'll take it in, absorb it, chew on it, and then I'm like, all right, how could we, if you were to teach this, what would that look like? What would the words be like? What would the actions be like? Because when I look at it from the of a teacher, now I have to really understand it. You have to understand something to teach something, right? Learning something's not enough if you have to teach it. You have to understand it. 5 times 5 is 25. Great. We all know that. How do you teach that to somebody? When you learn how to teach that to somebody, oh, okay, I got to do this and move the numbers around. And then this is what that means, right? And so it's full understanding. And so I started teaching this concept of world, and it's sparked a lot of people over the last few weeks. A lot of people have stepped up and said, you know what, Glenn, I'm like you. I have all of the pieces and I'm doing the things, but I'm doing it at an average level or a little bit above average or a little bit below average. Some people doing it really poorly. Some people doing it very well, but very few were holding themselves to a world-class standard. And I believe the difference between those that achieve and then those that disrupt and reach miraculous levels, right? Because we all can achieve. Everybody listening to this done achieve something. But the disruption, the miraculous, the miracle space where God calls us to, that's world-class type stuff. So that's what's been going on with that. It's been great. Going, baby, let's worldwide.
Listen, Glenn, I'm telling you, I got one more question before we wrap up because I am going to honor our time. Glenn, I was sitting here thinking as you were talking, and I was like, this guy is amazing because I was matching up. See, what I like it, Glenn, I can only speak for myself always. Whenever I hear you speak or we talk about particular things, I line myself up with you. What do I mean, right, Glenn? Not comparison. I don't want to be Glenn Lundy. I want to be Linda Diane Rigby. That's my real name, Glenn. But I'm Bella because I personify who I am. God gave me Bella. We'll talk about that when you come back on my show, Bill, because I really want to share some things with you, Glenn. I want you to physically see as you're teaching me, Glenn, how you've taught me, and I want to give it back to the community because I'm always open to grow. But you taught me another level, Glenn, right? So when you're doing things, I'm comparing myself positively. Glenn, da, 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 da. I look at Bella, da, 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 right, Glenn? Never negatively, never begrudgingly, just, yeah, Glenn got a jet. If I need one when it's time, I'll get. It's that whole. And Glenn, here's my questions building up. You have so many leaders. Oh my goodness, Glenn, under one house, right? That's a lot of power. I think about myself because I pride myself, Glenn, in a healthy God way. I'm like, yeah, because I know whose I am. I don't stutter. I get down, I bleed, I cut and all that, but I know who I belong to. And Glenn, there's so many leaders you got. And I think, wow, does Glenn sit back and be tripping? Like, that's a lot of, I mean, like, because we're like in the vineyard, right, Glenn? We're going to go out, right, Glenn? 4 corners of the world, right, Glenn? Glenn, how does that feel? And that's a lot of responsibility, but you've done your part, Glenn. I just want to know, how do you feel to like inspire like Bella? Because I'm like ready to jump off the roof now, Billy.
No, it's spectacular, and a lot of times it's really surreal, right? We have amazing champions all around us, and the fact that they choose to pour their time into this community is unreal, man. I understand how valuable people's time is, and so for them, out of the trillion places to be in the world, literally a trillion different places they could be, they choose to be in this space. They choose to run with me. They choose to continue to add value to the mission that we've, launched, giving everybody a seat at the table, making people feel seen, heard, and significant. And so it's pretty spectacular. It's pretty spectacular. I've always been a leader of men. I've always been that my whole life. But it wasn't until, recently, the last 5-7 years, I would say, that I was actually taking that opportunity to be a leader of men and using it for something positive. I used to be the guy who convinced everybody to go to the party. I was the guy who convinced everybody to go to the casino. I was the guy who convinced the ladies to do whatever it is we wanted to do. I was the guy that was people to rob stores and to beat people up. Like I was the guy. I've always been a leader of men. I just didn't have moral fiber attached to it. I didn't understand who I was. And so when you make that connection, it's amazing how attractive you become. The more in line you are with the Father, the more attractive you become. And so we've attracted amazing people like Bella, and we've attracted a lot of amazing into the space because there's a lot of congruency there. It's authentic, it's real, it's raw. Nobody's trying to be something that they're not, right? We had to weed all out in the beginning stages. Who's lying and saying they something that they not. And now what we've got is pure, authentic, raw, incredible humans. And it's an honor to be a leader of men and to lead them to a place where their life becomes more valuable to them than before I used to lead people to a place where I just get them in trouble. That's all I use for real.
Well, Glenn Lundy, I'm gonna actually give you a piece of my heart, because you're gonna learn my format, Glenn. Every guest closes out with I call a call to action. So the last voice is usually my guest. They usually give them a little something, give them some work to do. But Glenn, this is what I want to say before we close out, and I'm gonna cry, Glenn. I don't care. Glenn Lundy, I've been following you for a year. I've been absolutely coming in your room. And whatever you think about me, I don't even care. But Glenn, you got to listen to me. You have absolutely changed my life. Always for the better. Because Glenn, I know my empowerment. You empower me with the empowerment of the empowerment, if you know what I mean. And
I do know what you mean.
It's Glenn, I got to say this. It's an honor. It's a privilege. I done met a lot of people. I met a lot of junk. Glenn, I know how to censor stuff. I done met a lot of Glenn. But Glenn,
right.
When the Spirit told me link up, because I came on the app, if you don't remember, Glenn, because you work with a lot of people, Glenn, I'm going to put Billa to the top. I said to you, Glenn, I was looking for a leader's leader because I know that iron sharpens iron, Glenn Lundy. I've been a believer for over 30 years, Glenn, but it's not about the believing over 30 years, right, Glenn? It's the evolution of yourself. And when I came on the Clubhouse a year ago, I said, I gotta find somebody to take my 100% and help me harness. Because see, Glenn, I was looking for you, Glenn. I was looking for somebody that's done these fantastic things that I know I'm gonna do, so I can say, oh, I don't feel like doing nothing, low. Like, you better get on up, Bella.
Let's go.
Let's go. And Glenn, I'm gonna say this.
Gotta go.
Glenn,
Gotta go.
you absolutely
800%.
have
Let's
changed
go.
my world, Glenn. Glenn, the people don't even know a piece of you. That's why you got to come back. This man is so complex, y'all. Y'all know 800 Club, 800. But I mean, I can go. Y'all don't know, y'all. I got this stuff memorized because when you attract like-mindedness and you know it comes from the Creator, y'all don't understand, Bella. I got somebody here that leads me, that guides me. That's my brother from another mother that makes mistakes, and we cool with it. I made a mistake. Let's pick. It ain't no judging, hating up in here. And so when y'all somebody like that, you lash on to them on this side, because we all will transition. Yes, we will. But I'm telling you, I tell this man every time, and I'm gonna say, Glenn, well done, thy good and faithful servant, because this man's not afraid to tell people he's a believer. And we don't get all hung up in titles and names and this and that. We're a believer in the Creator of the universe. And this man knows how to inspire people for real. I ain't talking about for $999, go ahead and hit me up with a cash. I'm talking about Glenn don't want nothing for people. I can say that because God's going to get them. Because I tell people all the time, Glenn, I'm going somewhere, Glenn. If we just show up and be kind to somebody else, God will boomerang that same back to you. We ain't got time to be jealous. This is Women's History Month, Glenn, and I cannot tell you, Glenn, it's going to take more than History Month because we women, that's my specialty, Glenn. That's my ministry. We need to get it together, Glenn, and stop trying to compete against each other. We are one. And Glenn Lundy personifies that. So I had to tell Glenn, you need me? Put me on speed dial. Then you want me to come work for you for free? I will come work. I mean, every freaking, because I understand this man's mission, y'all. So I want all my people who are, I don't want to use the word selfish, but I want y'all to check yourselves when y'all look at the replay. Think about it seriously. Seriously, for those who've been repping, all those thousands of people following me, Glenn, I got over 3,000 subscribers. We're gonna add it up. Over 55,000 people have been on my YouTube, and I stopped, Glenn, because I got stuck like Chuck, Glenn, and the pandemic did a lot to me, Glenn. And I didn't have Glenn Lundy in May, Glenn. I'm gonna cry, Glenn. I really mean it. I didn't have Glenn Lundy in early May, Glenn. I got off of this daggone YouTube because I allowed the enemy to tell me I wasn't doing nothing, Glenn. Right. And I went down, Glenn, and I got in the house. I witnessed, Glenn, and I found you, Glenn. So yeah, people, I'm gonna keep talking about Glenn Lundy. Ain't no shame in Bella's game. I love this man as my brother. Y'all need to endorse him, and I'm gonna have. Yep, I'm going on and on. I'm going on and on YouTube. I'm going on and on Twitter. Yes, I am. LinkedIn and my Facebook family. Y'all better get with the click because Bella is back for real. And I'm going to be bringing this man. Look at this man. Google this man. Endorse this man because I'm going to have him come back and y'all going to be like, yep, Bella was right. Go get his.
Let's go.
Go there right now because I'm gonna bring him back so y'all can unpack the man. He's got so much going. I gotta bring him back every month this year, Glenn. Every month this year, Glenn.
Just hit. You know where to find me.
As I wrap it on down, respect your time. I just want to tell you publicly, Glenn, look at me. You absolutely changed my life. I'm gonna rep with you to this side and the other side. And Glenn, put me on your payroll because I will do anything you want Bella to do. Because you know what, Glenn? I get it. So without further ado, I want Glenn to leave some parting words. I want to thank everybody, my YouTube family, my Twitter family, my Facebook family, and absolutely, y'all come first. I want Glenn to share a call to action to people. Glenn, I have over 30,000 people following me. I've got moms, dads, sisters, brothers, entrepreneurs, legacy people, baby boomers, you name them. And Glenn, I'm going to quiet myself and put myself on mute as you, whatever the Lord's put upon your heart, Glenn, to share with us. The last voice everybody's going to hear, Thank you for coming on the Bella Unplugged. I'll be back on my regular schedule. And yes, I did not turn the comments off, but I will have Glenn Lundy to come back and ask all these questions, Glenn, because I didn't get to one of them. So, Glenn, you have the floor. And I want to thank y'all.
No problem. Well, thank you, Bella. I appreciate the time. Appreciate joining us here today. Do me a favor, connect with me. You can go to glennlundy.com, check that out. If you would like, you can go to themorning5.com and you can get a free download book. That's all you. Doesn't cost me. You can go check that out. But ultimately, just continue to grow, to continue to evolve, to be great, right? We break it down into 4 words for me and my company. We rise every day with intention and purpose, evolve into the best versions of ourselves possibly be, so that we can go out and make an impact in other people's lives, right? Rise, evolve, impact. And the best part is we do it together. So appreciate you. Appreciate you so much. Rise, evolve, impact together. I'll see you on the other side. See ya.